what's the greatest gift you have ever received? Now, some people may say it's a family heirloom, a great treasured memory of someone one loves very dearly. Some people may say it's because I have a pretty good bank account and lots of stocks and things like that. For some people, my greatest gift is my family. For others, it may be a professional designation or having a great job. For Mike Piazza, the greatest gift he received was none of those. You may say, who is Mike Piazza? Well, Mike Piazza and Ken Griffey were inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame last Sunday. And so all those inducted give a speech and they kind of reflect upon their baseball and personal careers. Now, Mike Piazza could have said, my greatest gift is actually playing Major League Baseball. Because of all those who've ever been drafted, something like only 2% actually make it to the major leagues. Now, Mike Piazza was drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers in 1989. And he was drafted in the very last round, only 6 picks away from being the very last pick. I think it's like 1,390 people were picked ahead of him. And the Dodgers selected him because it was a favor. So Tommy Lasorda, the manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers, knew Mike Piazza's father, Vince, very well. And so the team thought, well, let's take a flyer on this guy and make Vince happy that we drafted his son. Nonetheless, Mike Piazza made the major leagues. Was that his greatest gift? No. Now, Mike Piazza played for something like 20 seasons, and he made $120 million over that time. Was that his greatest gift? No. Of course, as I mentioned, he made the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's probably the greatest hitting catcher in history, at least the most home runs. And there are only 312 people inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame, so it's very hallowed ground to make the Hall of Fame. And each inductee gets a plaque. Was that plaque the greatest gift he ever received? No. In his speech, he reveals the greatest gift that he ever received. And he said, the greatest gift was given by my mother. My mother gave me my Catholic faith. And it helped me throughout my personal and professional life. And he said it gave me compassion, patience, and hope. Now, for those who played baseball, especially appreciating Major League Baseball players, they need a lot of compassion, patience, and hope in order to succeed. And Michael Piazza did it because of his Catholic faith. So faith also for us is the greatest gift that we can possess. What exactly is faith? Well, faith is the gift from God to believe that God actually exists. A God who is love, as the first letter of John says. And faith is also our response to that gift. We talk about practicing our Catholic faith, is that it's a participation in that relationship that we have with God, a God who is love, personally loves us and loves all people as well. And so it's an acceptance of that gift and then utilizing that gift. Now the readings today kind of speak about this gift of faith and how best to use it and appreciate it. And our first reading today, taken from the book of Ecclesiastes, is the famous one which speaks about vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Now, the sacred writer uses the term vanity 30 times. And we think about vanity going into the mirror in the bathroom and looking at ourselves, oh, I'm kind of pretty, or have to be prettied up a little bit. For him, it's much more profound. And we kind of get an allusion to it in today's reading about how hard people have to work for their possessions. And who do we leave them to? Eventually, all of us will die. Who do they go to? We strive and toil and struggle, and who do they go to? So when he uses the term vanity, he speaks about breath, as if we breathe out and it's gone. As he speaks about the things of this world, that they pass away. So is there any hope if we have all that's vain here on earth? He says the very last part of his book is that the only assurance we can have is the knowledge of God, that God exists, everything else disappears. Even our second reading today from the letter to the Colossians, Paul speaks about this gift of faith, is that this faith is not something that we have to aspire to. We have to look up, he says, that this hidden life of God that you have must be revealed. And you have to keep your eyes on the prize, because it's easy to get deluded by the things of this world. He speaks about greed and fornication and idolatry and all that. Paul's saying, whoa, we got to keep our eyes on the prize. This gift of faith should lift us up to what we truly aspire to, eternal life, where love never dies. And then in our gospel today, it speaks about possessions and how easy it is when people become fearful to begin to hoard and possess, to say, this is my security. That those who take upon themselves the Christian faith should be one of freedom and love and generosity. And here we have the total antithesis to that notion. Now, having possessions, I think my sense of Luke's gospel is not that it's a bad thing. We need possessions. We need to eat. We need to live. I think the change would be, do we possess our possessions, or do our possessions possess us? So do we have control over our possessions, or do they have control over us? And I think the sense of today's reading about this man who has all this abundance, and what does he do? It says, eat, drink, and be merry. And even Jesus says, well, he did not do for God. He only looked after himself. I think one element of faith is sharing it with others. And there's no greater gift than our faith. And so for this man to have abundance and not sharing with others, that's not a life of faith. He's possessed by his possessions in terms of, in the contrast, be using our possessions to serve and help us to serve God and our neighbor. So our faith is the greatest gift that we can possess. Again, our possessions can easily possess us. How easy it is to hoard. Instead of appreciating, as St. Paul says that we have been justified by faith, is that we have been justified by love that God has for us. But it enters into a mystery. And yet the things of this world we can easily hoard and possess because we can see them, we can touch them, we think that they're going to save. But vanity of vanities, all is vanity. And I think it's not only our possessions that can possess us, but anger, hostility, stubbornness, or even losing a job. We undergo some kind of tragedy, we become sick, and we can easily lose our faith. To no longer believe that God loves us, He has a remarkable plan for us, He wants to share life with us here and forever. So can we nurture our faith? Now, Pope Francis right now is in Poland celebrating the World Youth Day with millions of young people. And I think it's under the guise of the sense of a year of mercy, is that it's easy to overlook this life of faith, but our faith in turn can be nourished by mercy. At this call that we have been renewed by the love that God has for us, He's forgiven us, He has transformed us, and in turn to share that with others. I think He's telling the young people, hey, use your time, talent, and treasure, most of all your faith, to love and serve others, to be instruments of mercy. I think the very fact that we're here is a sense that we're practicing our faith, that some of us may be overwhelmed by the struggle, the cross of our Christian faith. Some of us bask in joy because of the experience of the resurrection. Well, regardless, we need strengthening elements of our faith. Well, we have the very fact that we're here, gathered together. In fact, next week we'll take our second reading from the letter to the Hebrews, which talks about faith, but also examples of faith, to in turn nurture those who are struggling in faith. And likewise, the fact that we're here strengthens one another in faith. We, of course, have the scriptures, the whole love letter that God has for His people, salvation history. And also we have the Eucharist. The very fact that we believe in faith, that what we consume is truly the body of Jesus and His blood. If we have that, we should never be overwhelmed by sadness. We should be filled with joy and love, because God truly dwells within us. And hopefully that this faith is a source of compassion, a source of patience, and a source of hope, as the faith that he was given by his mother was the greatest gift that he received. For him, it wasn't being inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It wasn't making $120 million as this great gift, nor even just playing Major League Baseball. The greatest gift he received is faith, and it transformed his life, and what a source of inspiration he is for so many others. And likewise with us, despite whatever possessions we have, let us give thanks to God that He has given us this gift of faith. And so let us allow this gift to truly possess us, so that we in turn, we can share it and then allow others to possess this great gift of faith through us.